Hello friends, myself Shriram. We are understanding strings. Now it's the time for us to understand 2D strings. So now I have created a array and here you can see I have given it names. Okay, and here I have provided few names. And there are 5 names here. That means the 2D array that I have created basically is of size 5 by 25. That means 5 rows and 25 columns. And then I have initialized it using some names like Arya, Venkata, Krishna, Smith. So this is something similar the way in which we have earlier seen two-dimensional integer arrays. So these things are pretty similar. Now using this names, that is a 2D arrays, I can always print it. So let's now print it. And now you can see the names have come, like here on the bottom you can see Arya, Venkata, Krishnan. So all those 5 names have come. So essentially you will see we have made use of the internal support that is part of strings in C, and that's why instead of giving character by character, now we know that we can give it in double quotes. So like that we have provided in double quotes each name. So what exactly has happened is, let's go to PPT and try to understand it. So here you can see basically we have created something like this. So these are here rows. So let us say this is the 0th row, this is first row, this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. And then there are columns. So like here there are some columns here like that. Okay, so this is 0th column, this is first column, second, like that till 24. Okay, now the area will come like this: A, R, Y, and A. Okay, like that it will come. So these are dots, other columns. Okay, now if I have a bigger name, say Venkata Krishnan, then V, E, and like that, it's probably it will end here somewhere, it will end here. So then there is a third name, there is a fourth name, like that. So essentially what is happening when we are using this code, then you will see Arya name is very small. Similarly Smith name is relatively smaller. Similarly for Mary, but Venkata, Krishna and Srinivasan, these names are bigger. So what exactly is happening when I look at this particular diagram, then there is Arya and then obviously after that there is backslash 0, which anyway internally it will put. So every name will be ended by backslash 0, so that we know. But the point is that remaining all the locations here are empty. So this is where there is, I will put it here empty, E for empty. So there are a lot of such places which are empty. Now if it is basically going to be a bigger list, then we are going to waste lot of space with respect to memory. So what is a better approach then? So the better approach, now we will understand it, and that better approach is I can basically continue to do it something like this. However, I can create, instead of having a 2D array, I can create a array of pointers. That means now if I can just show it pictorially, like suppose if this is the, say, string 1, let us say this is the string 2, let us say this is the string 3. Now let us say that this is Arya. Okay, let me just put ARYA, and then obviously there is backslash 0. So we know that everywhere there is backslash 0. I'll just put it for the sake of completeness, backslash 0. And then the words are there like Smith, Venkata Krishnan, like that. So if I create such things and then I have pointers here, say this is a pointer P1 or P, then this is a pointer say P2, then this is a pointer P3, then, and if I basically have all those pointers with me in a sort of an array, then my job is done. Why? Because then it becomes very easy, and at the time of initialization I can always initialize it. Why? Because when I say Arya and I have a pointer, then that particular Arya will be allocated to a memory and the pointer will start pointing there, and how much memory it will occupy? It will occupy exactly the name, that means the width of the name that you have provided, followed by obviously backslash 0. So that's the advantage. So that means what it is called as array of pointers. Array of pointers. Why? I am just creating an array PTR. So I'm just putting it in shortcut. Okay, array of pointers. Why? Because if I just have indexes of P1, P0, P1, P2 like that, and say P0 points or P1 points to Arya, P2 points to Venkata Krishnan, P3 points to say Smith like that, then my job is done. And I can very easily do even other activities on that. That means if I want to exchange the names and things like that. Okay, so a lot of such byproducts or the other things can also be done. So let's now try to understand it with respect to code. That means now you have this particular thing. However, now let me just copy this here. So let me copy this completely and I'll copy it here. Okay, I think I already kept it there. So ready. Okay, so here you can see already the things are copied and I have kept it already there. So the same thing. So let's first run this and see whether it comes properly. Yeah, so all the names are coming properly. Arya, Venkata, Krishnan and all that. Okay. Now what we want is basically array of pointers. So that is very important. What we want is array of pointers. That is what I told you. So how do I create array of pointers? So essentially now I will get rid of this and I will have a pointer notation, and then obviously I don't require this column, number of columns. Why? Because now we are providing the name them here and here itself. That means the way in which I have shown you here. So you will have say P0 now. Let me just put it here P0. Then this is P1. This is P2. That means P0 essentially will be a pointer and it will point to Arya. That is what will happen. So P0 will point to Arya. Then P1 will point to Venkata Krishnan. So probably I will put it here. So let me just put it here. So P0, that means internally when I am saying pointer, so here it will point to Arya, and then the next one, say suppose P1, then it will point to say Venkata Krishnan, like that. Okay. So like that it will happen. Why? Because now here you have all these things which are there. Now I can simply print it. How can I print it? Basically what is happening, it's a basically this will point to the starting address. Internally I am doing star names. Okay. So I could use a temporary pointer and then I can associate, that's okay, but it's not required here. Why? Because now simply names of I, if I do, my job is done. And names of I, if I just do it, my basically the job is done. So I can simply print using that. So let's see this now in action. So I'm just building it, build has completed, and now so here the output has come. Then let it complete. Yeah, so here you can see Arya, Venkata Krishnan, Smith, Srinivasan and Mary. So all the names have come, and what we have done is now here essentially we didn't use that much of memory space which earlier would have happened. So how do you identify that? So we can put a breakpoint here in both these places, and let's try to first run str6 which we just did few minutes back, and let's understand it properly. So if I just do it debug, and let me put a watch here on names. Okay, so I'll put a watch on names. So you can see this 0th, basically there is Arya. You can see the way in which it is there, Arya, and then all are 0. Why? Because there are 25 columns. So here you will see ARYE backslash 0, and then all remaining things till 24 are backslash 0. That means it has initialized to 0. That means what essentially has happened is the remaining space after Arya 1 backslash 0. That means from 5 onwards till 25, 24, the space is waste. That is what I wanted to show you, that space is a waste. Similarly, if I look at say Venkata Krishnan, then Venkata Krishnan till 14 it has occupied 15, obviously backslash 0, and then 15 onward, that means 16 onwards till 24 is wasted. Then you can see for Mary. Okay, now if there is a bigger name, I have to have a provision. I can simply say that I will just make it 15. Why? Because if there is still longer name than say if somebody has a name like Ramalingam, Raju, Venkata Krishnan and somebody some big name, then obviously I need to have a decent provision to provide the name. So I can't just make it too small. If I make it too small, then I will not be able to hold a decent size or a little larger size name. Okay, and if I have a larger name, then again I am losing on the space. Okay. Similarly, if you look at Smith, then Smith basically SMITH and then \0, and then from 6 onwards till 24, basically all those columns are empty. They basically have \0 and it's a West. Okay. So like that you will have for Srinivasan, and like that you will have for Mary. So this is the scenario when we use 2D array. So what exactly is this? Is a 2D array. So 2D array. Okay, so this is where 2D array, and you essentially have space getting wastage. So here you will see the space wastage happens. So to get rid of this, what I told you is, like, you can go to this solution now, and here let's see then how does it work. So again I put a breakpoint, and then let's debug it. So let it load. Yeah, so you can see this. Now you can see these names, and then here obviously names of 0, and then here you can see this 0th location. That means essentially it's a pointer. So it's pointer where you will have 65. Okay, that means A. Here you will see this. So if I basically use names of 1, names of 2, names of 3, so here it starts with Venkatakrishna, that is the first character. Then this is the S for Smith, and then here you will see Srinivasan, and then M for Mary. Okay, so essentially what has happened is, you have at this location, so we can very easily see now this is 000, and then after it has ended, suddenly D608, that means at the 8th location itself Venkatakrishnan has started. So what we have done is, we basically have utilized the memory in a very efficient way, and we didn't waste the memory the way in which it got wasted, because I had 25 here. Here it's going to occupy exactly whatever I require, and that's the way typically you handle. And here what we call it as array of pointers. So you can see this is essentially pointing there, and what we have done is, we basically have just done names of I, and then we can just print it. Okay, so you can just, that means whatever the content is there from here, that particular content will get printed. Okay, so that's the beauty of that. Okay, so you can see this name is Arya, the name is Venkatakrishna, name is Smith, and all those things you can see very clearly, and it exactly occupies the space. Now the limitation of this approach is, if I have to give input, then I cannot give here. Why? Because this declaration, at the time of declaration, initialization should happen. So when we are using array of pointers, the main important learning is, you need to at the time of declaration, at declaration I need to initialize. Initialization is mandatory or must. Okay, that's why I am initialized it. But if I use scanf or say getS, and if I want to give these names, then I cannot use this approach. Why? Because when we give these names, then only it can create like this. Okay, that's the limitation. That means initialization is must. So if I have to give the inputs, then we need to say it in a little different way, and which we will deal in the further videos. I hope you like this video. You understood the concept of 2D character array. Then you also understood the issues or the wastage of space that can happen with 2D character array. So how do you circumvent? You essentially make use of array of pointers. However, when we use array of pointers, initialization becomes mandatory. So we will overcome this issue in the further videos. Thank you.